and then full-time in 2014. What's fascinating and exciting about what you're going to see in the sacristy is some frescoes that were unknown until the year 2000. So up until that time, the Alamo Church was always thought of the one mission in San Antonio that wasn't decoratively painted. They knew that all the other missions had decorative painting, but this one, because it was never completed and it was secularized in 1794, they thought since it didn't have a permanent roof that it was never decoratively painted. So at the time, the Daughters of the Republic of Texas were the custodians, so they took care of this artifact as well as the Long Barrack. And they decided to open up these rooms. They were closed to the public, so they decided to open them up. And when they were trying to figure out where to put a display case, one of them noticed a little bit of color on one of the walls in the sacristy. And so they made a bunch of phone calls and they raised money overnight. And at the time, my partner and I came in with the scaffolding, and where that color was found, we then put on magnification goggles and strong lights, and we started shaving off layer by layer of a white wash that was applied by the U.S. Army, and we discovered 3 different fresco bands.
Did they think they were protecting it, or why were they whitewashing it, just to secularize it?
I think the U.S. Army had them whitewash it so that it would look more like a fort and not like a church. And so, and that actually did preserve it, because if you think about it, the frescoes are painted with lime wash, and lime wash is very thin, and over time, it's going to require maintenance and in painting. As you know, being a homeowner, you have to paint your home, and so they didn't want to do that, but they really wanted it to look like a fort. Mm-hmm. And so we just started working our way out, and what we discovered on the frieze band was there is this beautiful alternating design, and the design consists of colors of red and yellow, and also black. The black is a charcoal. And then there's a wainscot that we also discovered. There's just a little bit of the wainscot left. Most of it is deteriorated away because we have, as you can see, a rising damp problem. But it's a beautiful red and yellow and black design. On the ceiling, in the upper part of the wall, and there it's arched, you'll see there's an alternating design that is of floral and pomegranate, and it consists of the red and the yellow, but it also has a third color that's an earth green. And earth green and yellow ochre and red ochre are common minerals that we have here in Bexar County. When we did the investigation, we also discovered that one of the other colors was a brighter red known as vermilion. And vermilion is a mineral that is in common here in Bexar County, so they would have had to brought it with them. We also discovered that a copper green was used, and the copper green had to be made on site. And what they did is they took like a little urn that had a shelf, and they had a molcajete, and they had the copper sheets in the molcajete with urine underneath on the lower shelf, and then they closed the urn, or let's say it's a chest, and they encapsulated it with animal dung, and they buried it in the ground. And then after a few days, they would open it up, and then in the molcajete, that copper had then developed that lovely patina that you see elsewhere, not really in San Antonio. And they brushed it off into another molcajete or some sort of container, and then they would mix it with their calcium carbonate and their protein, which is how they made all their mineral pigments. And the protein was either goat's milk or cow's milk. Now, we know all of this because we've done scientific studies studies. We've used a portable XRF, which is a portable X-ray fluorescence analyzer. At Trinity University worked with us for I think about 3 or 4 years doing a lot of analysis, so we wouldn't have to harvest a sample from the wall. We could leave everything intact and they could do the analysis on site. We also have used a multispectral imaging camera, and what that does, you put different filters on your lens, and then you're able to see designs on the wall that you wouldn't normally see. And so we were able to look at alternating stencil designs, and it would have missing design elements. And with the multispectral imaging camera, we were able to find these missing design elements to add to the frieze band. Yeah.
Tell me the span of time the church was actually being used as a church, from when to when?
So it was the construction, went on for quite some time. So, but this sacristy was finished in 1756, and it was really the only space in the Alamo Church that had a roof on it. And then it was secularized, this entire space, the whole Alamo Church was secularized in the mid-1790s.
So about 50 years it was used as a church.
Yes, but it didn't have a roof in the nave out there.
It did not?
No, only the confessional and the baptismal, they had a ceiling, but they were building a second story for their bell towers that they never completed because it was secularized.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Is it time? Okay, I'll do it. We have to look.
And did the battle occur inside the church as well?
Mhm.
Was this like one of the last stands in here, or
Yeah.
do we know?
Well, I believe the last stand was in the Long Barrack. So, but this was where there were 3 cannons that were at the far east end. They had a ramp with 3 cannons up there. So, I will add that not only have we found fresco designs in the sacristy, but I have found color in here, little fragments like the size of your pinky nail of blues and greens and reds, and also out there. So we can confidently say that even though it wasn't completely finished, these walls were finished in plaster and they were decoratively painted, or in the process of, maybe not all the walls were painted, but a good majority of them were. So.
During the period when the mission was operating, did the Spanish occupy the Long Barracks and the Indians occupy the short barracks, for loss of a better word? Mm-hmm. Is that what happened?
Well, you mean like in they did.
Gate area?
Yes, in the, like where the Visitor Center Museum, or that's not there yet, but where the buildings are across the street, there would have been a wall, like a protective wall. And the Native Americans that converted, that was where they would have housed. Very similar to like if you go to Mission San Jose and you can
Gotcha.
see all those Native American quarters.
And all of those have been lost with time?
Here, yes, because the city grew around.
Yeah.
They grew around the heart of Alamo, which I think is the heart of San Antonio.
Possible that foundations are underlying the street and all that?
Well, they've done so much digging out there over the time that there's not really much left.
Not much left.
Yeah, but around the Alamo Church itself, we have found the original footings. The walls are 4 feet thick, and the foundation walls are even thicker, and they go down about 7 feet. Yeah, so if you want to come on in.